Welcome back. In this video, we are going to look at another core technique, table calculation functions. In this video, we are going to look at the following: Windows Sum, Windows Min, and Windows Max. Knowledge of these are essential for building bespoke data visualizations in Tableau. Table calculations allow us to run functions or calculations on top of a pre-rendered table, in essence leveraging the data that's already there, and also at the same time providing us some interesting options when it comes to data densification, which we will cover very shortly. But let's get further acquainted with these functions by going straight into Tableau and creating some visualizations. So with Tableau open, I want us to go to Microsoft Excel. I want us to open the sample superstore. Once again, I want us to drag in orders. Once the data is loaded, let's go to our sheet. Now we are going to build a very simple visualization to demonstrate what we can potentially do with Windows Sum, Min, and Max. Again, this is for demonstration purposes. If you understand this, hopefully you'll pick something up new. Otherwise, let's build this together. So let us drag order date onto columns. And I want to expand this. So click on the small expand icon, expand the hierarchy. However, I do not want quarters. Right click and select month. Make sure it's the discrete month which is on top in terms of the menu. Perfect. Now I want us to take sum of cells or cells onto rows. The aggregation is sum by default, so that's perfectly fine. And I want us to change the mark type to bar. Beautiful. Again, a very simple data visualization, essentially cells by month for each year. So with that said and done, I now want us to create a table calculation. I know we could do this using quick table calculations, but I want us to write this out. A calculation to calculate the percentage that each month represents of the total year. So let us create this. Let's right click in the blank space, go to create calculated field, and let's call this, as per my normal convention, TC underscore total cells. In the formula, I want us to write Windows. Let's scroll down, sum, and I want us to use sum of cells. So if you think about it, what we're saying here is that the calculation is going to be sum of cells, and we want the sum of that, i.e. the total that is being displayed at the moment. Let's click OK. So now we have a total cells calculation. Let's drag this onto our tooltip. It's the easiest way for us to understand what's going on is if you drag an object onto tooltip, we can actually see what it represents. This is something we'll use again and again when we build our bespoke data visualizations. So let's hover over and see what we see. Beautiful. You can see that as the value for cells changes, sum of cells does not. However, you can see that we have a slight problem, and the total cells is currently calculating for the entire data visualization. By the way, I'm going to change the setting to entire view so I could see the entire visualization. I want us to right click on this total cells in the tooltip, compute using, and as you can see, it's calculating the sum of cells for all of the cells bars that you can see across the table. Let's select pane instead. So the pane is individual pane here, and now as you can see, the values are the same for each individual pane. So 2015, that's one pane, our second pane. As you can see, the values are constant for that in terms of TC total cells. And again, it changes again for 2017 as well as 18. So we understand what level of compute using we want to use. Now let's create our percentage calculated field, shall we? Let's right click on the blank space, create calculated fields, and let's call this TC percentage of cells. What we want to now do is sum of cells divided by TC total cells. Now, bear in mind, we still have to apply the correct compute using to get our correct value. But let's click apply, OK. Because it's a percentage, I want us to right click, go to default properties, number format, and I want us to set the percentage. Click OK. Let's bring this onto our tooltip and let's look at the value. As you can see, the values look decent, but let's right click, compute using, make sure it's pane across, and it is. So there we have it. We have sum of cells, which is individual blocks. We've used our total cells, which will be a Windows calculation, i.e. take into account the sum of cells for the entire window or what you can see. However, we've set this to be by pane, so each individual pane here. After which we've created a percentage calculation which takes the sum of cells and divides it by the total cells based on the pane itself. So now, as you can see, we have the following. We have our percentage value. Beautiful. I want us to now explore Windows min and max, because I want us to add some reference lines as well as using a table calculation as a dimension. So we're going to have some fun there. Right click on the blank space, create calculated fields. I want us to call this TC. I want to call this minimum monthly cells. And we are going to use Windows min and sum of cells. That should be quite self-explanatory. We're looking at the sum of cells from a visualization point of view, and we're calculating the minimum within our window, which will be defined by compute using. Click apply, OK. At the same time, I want us to create TC maximum monthly cells. Let's use Windows max sum cells. The calculation is valid. Perfect. Let's click apply and OK. By the way, I have no idea. I always click on apply before OK, although hey, one extra click doesn't mean too much. Now I want to also do something else. I want us to calculate the difference between the maximum and the minimum. So let's do that. Let's create a calculated field. Let's call it TC. Let's call it annual cells range. So we're going to take TC max. Again, I'm using tab just to autocomplete, minus TC min. Apply, OK. Beautiful. So now we are going to create some reference lines as well as some additional values. So main thing is to explore Windows min, Windows max. If you've done this before, great. If not, beautiful. So I want us to take control click, command click on the min and max monthly cells and drag this onto tooltip. Nice and easy. I want us to now add a reference line. So I want us to right click on the axis, add reference. As we brought these table calculations onto the view, we can now use them. So simple reference line. I'm going to use min. I'm going to hide the label on the tooltip. I'm going to turn this into a red dash line. I'm going to make it a bit bigger in terms of size. How about that? And now let's click OK. As you can see, we now have a line representing the lowest month within our window. That is fine. What I want us to do is right click on min, go to compute using, and again we want to change that to pane. And as you can see, the reference line has changed based on our usage or configuration of the table calculation. Now let's add another reference line. This time, make sure it's aligned. We're going to take the maximum. Again, I don't really want to show anything. I want this to be a red dashed line with a bit of size. Beautiful. So as you can see now, there's a line. Our Windows calculation, Windows Max, draws a line across the whole table. However, let's right click, compute using, across pane. Now, almost there and almost done with this example. The main thing is I want to emphasize how we are using Windows Min, Windows Max, also percentage of cells, to put a value across all the different points of data, and that's the key. So last but not least, I want us to right click annual sales range. I want us to convert that to a discrete. I now want to drop this into rows between year and month. Boom. Now this is interesting. What have we done here is that now we have these two values, minimum, maximum, and we're calculating the difference. So sure, certain years have lower months, certain years have higher months, but what is the difference between them? What is that annual range? What's the maximum range? And that's what we've calculated here with this value. I'm going to right click on TC annual sales, go to format, and I want to change that into a currency. I'm just going to use custom 1 decimal place, 0 decimal place, why not? Display unit in case. Fantastic. So as you can see what we have here, I can tell you now that 2016 had the lowest range, 18 had the greatest. I could also tell you that 18 had the maximum value in any given month of that year. 2016 also had the lowest total sales. And again, all we've done now is we've plotted a basic visualization, which is the blue bars. We've then added tooltips based on table calculations, the Windows sum. We also added reference lines based on Windows Min, Windows Max, and we've configured it to be based on each individual year. And lastly, we've built an additional calculation on top of the min and the max, and we produced a discrete which we've put in between. So now between our month and our year, we actually have a value. Now this is going to be key because what we're doing here is creating additional ways of getting more data into our visualization. With data densification, which we'll cover soon, we will go a lot more into this. So in this quick video, we've experienced and explored table calculations. Hopefully you'll have a bit of a better understanding, if not a great understanding already. But hopefully you're prepared because next we're going to look at data densification, and that's going to be loads of fun. Anyway, see you all soon. Bye bye.